I think Bata was able to control the middle field with the ball, and win the ball and then dictate in the middle field, because Chiefs middle field was nowhere to be seen. So therefore it allowed Parrot to just play easy.
Do you know when I knew it's going to be a long day for Chiefs?
No. I know where you're going.
Very early.
It's going to be a long one.
Ladies and gents, welcome to the State of Football, where the game meets opinion, memory, and insight. What ka vote agar? And ka fenza lindo bator lindo kaya ke squad depth. Rena le squad. Se sharp.
Rotation.
Squad depth. Hey pa.
Sure.
Grand.
No, I'm good. And
You're not actually a stranger to the show, man. You've been here a couple of times.
Yeah.
So welcome back.
No,
and
thanks.
also thank you for being here with us.
No, thanks for the invite.
Squad depth. Kumere.
Hey,
Are you nice?
Mpoza.
Mpoza, Mnati Nchaga.
I'm not.
Yo, man, we're back with another banger. One of the biggest games on the continent. Soweto Derby, one of the biggest games. It's like by rate and one or it's one of those games. Yeah. And actually, before we even get into it, man, Bulandi Pelo, like, subscribe, comment, let's engage. I think Retlo quite Sabat maybe Fandaka show. But ho kwatili. Kopana comment section. Anyway, Soweto Derby, back to the derby. Guys, big event. I mean, we spoiled, hey. That's why I got down to the Pirates like about a week ago.
Yeah.
Now a week later, Soweto Derby, Orlando Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs. I don't want us to get into tactics yet. I just want to hear your guys' thoughts about the game as an event. There was 87,000 people plus minus a few hundred. I mean, what is spoiled this South African football right now in this moment? How was the quality of the event that is the Soweto Derby in your perspective? We won Jangpa.
No, obviously the event was big, man. I think Chiefs, they did exceptionally well, marketing the game, like a few weeks before the actual event, and also the branding and the vibe, from the public, and everyone was excited to go to the stadium and watch the match. And also, looking at the event itself, I mean, it was unbelievable, man. It was one of those Soweto Derby games that you want to be involved. You want to. If you're a player, you want to play. If you're a fan, you want to go there and watch the match. But it was incredible.
Thank you, Majida, Luna.
Yeah, I know. I think another great advert for South African football. Ne? When it comes to an event, you can't fault it. Everything was perfect as an event. On the field, on the other hand, we'll get there. But just as a spectacle, as an event,
Yeah.
I think it was great.
Like I always say, if supporters come out on a midweek game, but at a stadium, on the weekend, automatically it should fill up. Also because get derby, we know probably most people in South Africa support the two teams. Why so?
Yeah.
I think we're in a good space as football this season. We've seen quite a bit in terms of attendance because we have a problem, poor attendance. I really gaming as fans. So right now, I mean, we're in a good place. So long may it continue.
Yeah.
I think also it has something to do with how Chiefs has probably performed this season. Well, and Bafana also, they've given us something to do. Okay, Arkening gaming, gents. Pirates. Let's start there. Chiefs. Level. Pirates, starting lineup, tactics. What did they do right? Mpoza. We want to from an Orlando Pirates. I mean, when we say Pirates, who support the Pirates?
Yeah, even Pirates this season. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Look, I think Pirates. I think Pirates did very well. I think they needed to come out and show that they're serious about this because they lost against Sundowns, and sometimes when a team loses like that, you wonder how it's going to affect the boys, especially because after Sundowns, Palooza against Keswick. So I think they came out and played very well. I think lineup of Pirates was no real surprises. I think the big thing was Mbata coming back. I think where you could see the difference. I think he added a lot of energy in the midfield, a lot of quality as well. I think dropping Tito was maybe what was some people did not expect.
Sure.
But I think they looked dangerous having having Moremi with Relili.
Police.
Leopolis. I think they looked dangerous. It was a good lineup. I was happy with the lineup. I was happy with the way they played. But Lille, like they played the way you expect them to play. They did not complicate
Typical.
it. They just played their normal football, high tempo, fullbacks getting forward,
Dangerous on the counter.
dangerous. Yeah, it was a typical Pirates performance. Liboni Judges.
So yeah, when it comes to Pirates, I think how you always speak about the gear.
Yeah.
I think Pirates need more gear 3.
You don't think they were that?
I don't think they did anything amazing. I don't think they were forced to do anything. I think quality it was just way superior than your Chiefs on the day. Maybe on the day, maybe overall.
Yeah.
But then at least say a little bit of composure, calmness into the team. And then you get Moremi that always wants to go behind you, which is always a threat. Apolis was in and out. I think really, primarily as a 10, he gave them just enough. But I didn't think he had the worst games or the best of games. I think he just did enough to carry the team in a way. The defense was not tested. I don't think they were tested. I don't think... Well, I wouldn't say they were not tested or they managed the game well enough not to be tested.
Yeah.
And then think about how they started. Pirates always start quick. They always want the early goal. Maybe because they got it, it became very favorable to them
Made the
because
game
they
easier
like
for them,
playing on the counter also.
Yeah.
And then it made Moremi with his speed behind Ashayne, Sebelebele.
Yeah, let's talk about, because you are part of the Fullbacks Association. I think he got the man of the match, ne?
Yeah,
What
he
did
did.
you make of
No,
Sebelebele's performance?
man, it was exceptional, man.
Yeah.
And especially from the defending side of things, he defended very well. 1-on-1, he was top notch. I mean, he covered, he ran, he ran like a modern fullback. He made tackles where he won the ball, and attacking was exceptional because it allowed Apolis to play more inside,
Yeah, sure.
and that's allowed them to overlap. And I think that was also great about Pirates is the fact that sometimes their wingers, they will come in and then they will allow the fullbacks, to overlap. But I mean, overall, Pirates they were just the Pirate that you know of.
Yeah.
And also, like you said, Tsepo, they were not tested. They were not tested.
Yeah, the defense was not really tested at
the
the
Pirate that we saw playing Sundowns, I think they were far better than the Pirate we saw playing Chiefs. But because they were not playing against a very strong side of Chiefs, then it allowed them to just flow. They flow. They play. The game was so simple for them, and they simplify it as well. I think Bata was able to control the middle field with the ball, and win the ball and then dictate in the middle field because Chiefs' middle field was nowhere to be seen. So therefore, it allowed Parrot to just play easy. At some point, I was like, is this a training match or what? Because it became so easy. It became honestly, it became so easy for Parrot. But we're not taking anything away from Parrot. They're good at what they do.
Yeah.
And they play well. They know what they are doing, and they're intentional. When they go forward. And it was just one of those where Parrot was just playing easy football and basic football too. And they shine through that.
I think we all know what to expect from Orlando Pirates. We know what they're gonna do. It was just surprising how.
Thibaut.
We'll get into it.
Thibaut.
Let's do this.
Can you just say Chiefs were disciplined?
It's fine. There's no feature. Flopo is good. I'm trying very hard to not jump the gun because
Sure.
But before we get there, still on Pirates, right? I mean, Mabani back like cash, Mbata, really. Would you say that's maybe their best configuration in terms of that midfield? How did they? I mean,
I like that midfield.
Cash,
Obviously,
Macaulay.
Macaulay.
No, he was very
He was-
disciplined.
yeah,
but
he
he was
was-
disciplined. He was
he
a
was-
six.
mm,
He
yeah.
was a six that Pirates needed.
Mm,
You sit in the middle field, you cover for everyone, you dictate, you assist anyone who's on a one-on-one, you win the balls and then you distribute, but you play calmer. He wasn't, sometimes he loses like he loses simple balls, you know what I mean? But yesterday he didn't do that. He was composed, he was able to win the ball and give it to Mbata, and then the attack starts again.
Yeah.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, I like that. I think so. For me, it's sometimes I feel like Pirates. If you take it back before they signed Nduli, before they signed Nduli, sometimes I felt like Pirates were always
Reliant.
they didn't have this composure in midfield. Everything was always 100 kilometers an hour, But and I thought Nduli would help with that, But I thought yesterday, I thought Mbata was also very measured. I think they complemented each other well and they kept it. They controlled the game. They were able, unlike what we saw last week when when they were in the Sundowns pressure cooker in midfield. I think they were good. I think they were good. They controlled the game well, and I think they set a good platform for Borele. The three creative players and the striker.
True.
Well, I would think Mbata on the field, we know he's good on the ball.
Yeah.
So it helps having someone who wants the ball, who will make you keep the ball. Then that makes your creative players in front of you get into the game. Ka profile so it's either you have Mbata, John Wick, Nematenja.
Yeah.
And between the two, we both know who wants the ball more
Yeah.
on their feet, who can do more with the ball. So Mbata being calm on the ball, being steady, gives Pirates a lot more control game than having to play that high tempo. We always go wingers, we always go up to the box. So it forces the opposition also to just come to them a little bit. And which suits Pirates because Babato Lala behind.
And I think Mbata has improved in his game on that. Because he gives a lot more control now than he used to.
I think if you're a national team player, you spend a lot of time in the national team setup.
Sure, you learn.
Yeah, you learn. You take those experiences, you bring them into that Orlando Pirates team. Yeah. It also makes you raise a level
confidence.
Up.
He's so confident now.
Yeah. Then you must
player.
also be able to carry the team. If you're in my team, you're the national team player, there must be a difference in what you do.
Then Arele is a 10 instead of Tito.
Listen, like I always say, Tito had a very good game against Sundowns.
Yeah.
Rele yesterday, he got an assist. He played well enough. He could have done more. There were moments where you could have picked a better pass. But overall, he played a really good game.
Yeah.
I think he played a really good game. He wasn't stretched also. He wasn't forced. I wouldn't necessarily say Rele was a 10 because they always interchange,
they interchange a lot. Yeah.
So he had the freedom, maybe also saying with Mbata in the team and knowing Mbata holds the ball, it brings your number 10 to say, we will always have the ball. The ball is always secure. When we have possession of the ball, then opposition is directed anyway. So having direction for Mbata to Rele as a 10 and then Rele being free, well, at least I know that we have the ball. We don't have to do a whole lot of other things.
Yeah.
Then it frees him a little bit more.
And as a fullback, ne?
Sure.
This thing that Pirates does where these wingers come inside and then basically look like they've got 3 number 10s. If you are on the other side as a fullback, because we had that discussion last week as well, how do you deal with that?
When you say on the other side, meaning that
So let's say you are playing against Pirates.
Pirates, yeah.
And these wingers are leaving you as a fullback and they're coming inside and the fullbacks are coming in. How do you deal with that?
Obviously, it requires some communication between yourself and your right winger to play more inside, to make sure that midfield also it's crowded, especially when you're defending. But you can't leave your full side, your right back. You can't leave that side because once you leave that, you're creating a gap. So what you do is that if you go inside as a fullback, you're stretching your winger to run now all the way back instead of saying no, just tuck in. I'll remain in my position. If anything comes on my side, at least I'm still there. Instead of allowing your right winger to run all the way at the back, to defend, and then you still expect him to go forward again. So you try and say, listen, don't run all the way to the back. Just make sure that there's enough numbers to try and mark that crowded.
So do you pass? Let's say in Apollos, let's say he starts on the right, ne?
Yeah, sure.
And then he drifts all the way inside. Do you pass him on?
No, yeah. Like I'm saying, you allow your right winger to come inside. You don't have to run with him. He just have to mark the space.
Yes.
Because the most important thing is the space than the man. So if you run with the man, then you're creating the space where he leaves you.
Which is what they want, yeah.
Exactly. Like you
hold your position.
You hold your your position, but you communicate with your right winger to say, listen, you come inside, and then just make sure the ball is not passed through the middle field into the striker, and then let the defense remain 4. The most important thing, you don't want gaps at the back. You can have gaps in the middle field.
Tempo said this last week. Stay in your 4.
You stay in your 4 all the time, regardless where the striker goes, where the winger go. Because once you start moving, then you start opening gaps in between the four defenders.
And speaking of Rele, do you know when I knew it's going to be a long day for Chiefs?
No. I know where you're going.
Very early.
It's going to be a long one.
And I'm Shaka Base. What about Rally Base? And then
you turn, you look the other side. Yeah, no.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, just to close the Rele topic, for now, and it's the same conversation we had about Nuno Santos last week. For me, I feel in that role, yes, we can say he could have influenced the game a bit more. But I just feel like as an attacking player, the output is important. And what did he give them? He created a crucial goal. And, I don't think Rele is a type of player, especially when he plays either when they're rotating positions or when he plays as a 10. I don't think he's the kind of guy who's going to be constantly in the game. I think he will drift in and out of games. But he's got that quality that that at any moment, I go get something. And for me, he did that yesterday, and that's enough for me.
Nothing. I think now, moving forward, we had Mremi, obviously Apollos, Mbutuma, front 3. And I think also we want to rekenyele Mahopa again.
Yeah.
Mfana koko. Oh, come on.
Mbutuma.
Yeah. Yes.
Come on.
So, yeah. Mara, in terms of that front 3, I mean, even we're almost going into the last stretch of the season. I mean, we've seen different combinations of Pirates play. But in terms of that setup, Rebona, do we make any changes going forward, or is that's the team that is now going to play going forward?
Let me ask a question, and I want to ask you guys.
Yeah.
So there's this thing, Rona's fans were always debating about this thing, rotation.
Mm-hmm.
For you guys, as players, do you feel better once you reach a point where you're like, this is our team? Maybe a change here and there, but this is it. Do you think Pirates should be looking to do that? Do you think they're at a point where they should be saying, this is our strongest back 4, this is our front 3, this is our...
So before we get to that thing, do you think Pirates rotates as much as we think Pirates rotates its players? If we really think about it.
Can I come in?
Yeah.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Sure. I think sometimes they make too many changes.
And unnecessary.
Unnecessarily.
So? Okay.
Yeah.
Number 1. Number 2 is there are sometimes when you watch Pirates, you're like, wow, this is a good team. Yeah. And then the next thing, someone is dropped. Then you ask yourself, but why are you changing it? It's not like this player is he has overplayed or he has played too many games and they need to be rested. So for me, I think sometimes they make changes that are unnecessarily, and sometimes they make changes that they are not supposed to be making them at the moment. You make changes when you realize that, okay, we have a comfortable team. First 11, we know our first 11. Now we've got 4 or 5 subs that we're always going to change. Of course, there's going to be injuries, within the season. There's going to be players that sometimes they underperform. So you wait for those moments. But if those moments, they don't come into effect, they're not there, then why do you change it?
Yeah.
Unless if you want to give other players an opportunity.
But you're fighting for the league. This is not the time.
So when I say opportunity, I mean like what Sundowns did when they played the Nedbank Cup.
Yeah.
They were able to use other players.
For sure.
And then you could see that these players are not ready as a team collectively, not individually, collectively. Because sometimes you got to understand who you're playing with. Training and then matches are completely different. That's different. You can't measure training and You train and then you go and prove it to us that the training did work. But if it doesn't work, then you gotta go and solve that issue. But I mean, sometimes Pirate makes unnecessary changes. For me,
that's what I
for
think
me.
as
I'm not saying
I
they are
think
wrong.
we spoke about this when the season restarted. Bro, these guys have been knocked out of AFCON for like a couple of weeks. And game Yas Kukune, you saw how they lined up in that game and they drew that game. Now Roland La Ligue in Ghana, Pirates have obviously played a game more than Mamelodi Sundowns. Right? Sundowns has a game in hand, Pirates has 3 points on Sundowns. This is now Rabona, it's a 2-horse race. This is where it's going. Now I wanna chance. Every game is a must win for both teams.
Listen, so there's also dynamic when we do our planning, dependent on opposition and what do we think as Wadu strengths each player is. Because we all know, okay, for example, this is Moremi. We know Moremi likes going behind.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the ball feet. He doesn't do a lot of things. He just wants space. He just wants to run and cross the ball.
Yeah.
And then you've got, let's say, Rele plays as the left wing. You know, Rele is not going to go run down the line.
Once ball to
Coming inside,
To come inside.
Come
so are we
inside,
now saying Kilewadu, dependent on the opposition, how do I plan? How do I now say, we call it rotating, but am I looking at it as this player is the right player for Gamia's Kukune, for Gamia, Chiefsy, you know, such things. So ideally, I don't know if we can really say it's a rotational system thing. Because if
It's a tactical thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if we are saying rotate, then so rotate to the 2 game
Exactly, because I mean,
Because I don't think
that's the
it's
point.
Taraji.
That's the point I'm trying to. Uti, the problem with Pirates is not even a problem, but they've lost points because of these changes. You know, there were games when you thought if they've played the team that we know of, they could have won this game. You know
I'll give you an example. When you guys won the league, if I could close my eyes.
15 players.
Kune,
Yeah, we were 15.
Pa, Matoho,
Tefu,
Tepo,
Ntawa,
Katande, Shaba. Like you could,
you know the team.
And
It's a settled
we've
team.
played the system that we know of, that we train every day. We don't change our
You can
system.
change maybe 1 or 2 players.
But we make subs, and sometimes if a player is injured, then we'll bring someone new. So we had the team, we knew how to play. So I'm not saying that when they make changes, Pirates, it's just that sometimes it's costly. When you make too many changes, and for Pirate this season, it has been costly.
Yeah.
We need to accept that. 1 or 2, not all the games. 1 or 2, 1 or 2.
Remember, the margins are very fine. Like we spoke about when they made those changes. That game was it Kukune when they drew, and it cost them. If you look, every point counts.
And now look at Mbata. Look how Mbata played.
Yeah.
And sometimes Mbata doesn't play.
Yeah.
And then
It doesn't make sense.
You're like, how
So
come is Mbata on the bench?
Yeah, but the one who came out and said, Ulimelu boy.
Maybe I don't know.
You know,
If
guys, on,
Ulimele, yeah, we can accept that.
on the strikers, what do you make of Unale Mbotoma, Unale Ngwana Sesi? What do you guys think about this? The striker situation?
me, I would prefer the
Manasseh.
No, Makopa is brilliant. You know, he does the things that most strikers they don't do. He works hard for everyone. He makes life easy for your wingers, your attacking players. He's a player that starts everything.
So
He starts defending.
Yeah.
He also involved in attacking. He might not be the one who scores, but he's an exceptional player. It's unfortunate that he does not score as many goals as he should be, but he creates spaces for players to come in and score goals because he works hard. I love him.
That's it.
Yeah, I think his link-up play is what probably makes him play. Yeah.
Listen, I think as a striker and between him and Umfanaga Koko Mbutum, I think he's the better one in link-up play.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to closing down and just watching the defense, Butuma's better in that aspect. But in terms of, if you had to compare the two of them in terms of quality, then Ngwana Sisi, I think, is the preferred one.
And do you think between the two of them, do you think that's enough? Pirates have enough there. They've got enough to win this thing with the two of them as their strikers.
Listen, you see, besides Mbutuma and Mahopa, Pirates gets their goals all around from that.
They share the goals. They
Creative-
split.
yeah.
They split
Yeah,
the goals
very well.
So that always helps, and it also doesn't put pressure as the main striker or I must get the goals.
Yeah.
If they don't get injured. If
Yeah, yeah.
they're
If they stay
injury
fit.
free, if they're
Yeah,
injury free and
yeah.
they stay fit, I mean they could perhaps cause a lot of problem going forward,
Yeah.
you know, and winning the league. If Sundowns does not win all their games.
Ngikubuza something, pa. Do you think the transfer Mabasa, if Ebesa would have been better for the Pirates Gutanga hand?
It's unfortunate that it surprised all of us. You know, firstly, they started dropping him.
Yeah.
So we were questioning that, you know, and we didn't know what was happening. I mean, behind the scenes. And then the next thing, we had rumors that he's gonna be loaned out, and then finally we knew that okay, he has left the club. Listen, man, if they had issues with him outside of the field, then that's the different story. But I think he was a goal scorer. He knew how to score.
You know, I'm not,
He-
you know,
he
you know,
just-
you
he
know, I
was-
wasn't surprised. You know, I knew that Mabasa would probably leave Paris.
Mhm.
And it took one game. I remember going at the Champions League semi-final. They were playing Pyramids.
Mhm.
They took the game to FNB. I remember I was there, and I remember thinking on that day, because I just felt like the way Pirates want to play, the kind of striker they want. I think Mabasa is a top striker. He's probably one of the best finishers in the league. Ne?
Sure.
Maybe if you count the top 5 finishers,
He's there.
he's there, right?
Yeah.
But I remember just in that game, because I remember watching that game live and thinking, you can see the difference. The way Pirates want to play. And I kept thinking, if Mahopa was on the field, this and that would be happening.
Yeah.
Mahopa he'd be drifting into that area, winning the flick on they'll be doing. I just don't think the way Pirates play, I don't think they want like a striker who hangs in the box and
He
waits
just wants to score.
and wants to score.
Fair.
He'll probably do. I think
So
Gavin, for example, I think he can use a striker like that.
Sure.
Stay in the box. We're gonna get the ball wide. The ball is gonna come. I'm not sure for Pirates Nafita in, and maybe that's why they.
I mean, I think he did at some point because he scored a number of goals.
But I'm saying the way the
but
game
I
model,
think as
Yeah.
Pirates, you know, in
With the new
The way
coach,
Pirates
Yeah.
have
the
looked like.
maturity,
and you know what I think, especially in the big games. So I think in the other games where Pirates have the ball, they will create a lot of chances.
Sure.
You'll probably score. But like when they're playing like a Champions League game, when they're playing a Sundowns, a Chiefs,
So
I'm
now
not
when we
surprised.
go back to the argument of Mboto, Mahopa, is that enough?
You can argue
Are
that
we
you
going-
can argue that maybe they need a different profile as a third striker, like a
Okay.
natural goal scorer.
Sure.
But the problem is Mabasa is a big player.
he wants to
Are
play.
you gonna keep him happy as a so? That's also another thing.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
Okay. Ring like a Perez, gents. Ring like a team yapa.
Chief,
Yeah,
where you
Ring
going
like a
with
team
this?
yapa. Ntwana.
Favored. Sundowns or Chiefs?
Chief, stop asking such questions.
You can't
We're
deal
not
with
here
it.
to discuss
Oh,
football.
yes, no, we can't
We're
deal
not
with it.
discussing who favors who and what. We're here to talk about
He was
football.
trying to get you in trouble. This one.
And
There's
then
a
the next
problem.
thing I'm like, no, this one and that one. And then, balance.
You played for both.
I love
It's
football.
okay.
I love football. I love football.
Okay, I think let's go, gents, in terms of how Chiefs lined up for this game. I'm not sure what the tactical approach was meant to achieve, but I mean, you saw how they started the game. You saw in terms of the formation, the players on the pitch. We
Listen, I mean, first thing I saw the lineup, I saw Miguel. I'm not a good fan. I've seen him. I think the
Who's this?
Miguel,
Miguel. Oh.
Miguel. I think he has dropped his standard when he arrived at Chiefs, and he's not the same player. And they play much better when he's not there. And also, I mean, playing McCarthy as a left back, that was a surprise for me. He's a top centre back. You know, regardless of if he's new in the league and maybe he's young, but you gotta play him. Play him, trust him. You know what I mean? And then you've got left backs on the bench. Use your natural left back.
You've got Cross,
You
you've got
know what I mean?
Marco.
Exactly. Just use your natural. Play McCarthy centre back, not as a left back. And when later on in the game, when you came on when they moved him as a centre back, it was much better. Much better. He won a number of balls because he's a typical centre back, not as a left back. But I mean, it was shocking, man. I mean, the team, the team, you know, they were, I don't know, on the day they look heavy. They look heavy. They were sluggish. They were tired. I was like, what's going on? And obviously, these are the things that you can see that when you don't have coaches, you're gonna have a team like that. when
I'm
you-
translating.
no, of course. when you don't have coaches for a team like Chiefs, then that's what's gonna happen to you. You're gonna struggle. You're gonna win 1 or 2 games and think that you've arrived, but you're gonna be exposed in the long run because teams start looking at you and like, oh man, there's a gap there. We can use that. So I think Chiefs, I think the Chiefs deserve to have a proper coach. Number one, because they could have. I think if they had coaches, they could have made changes. They could have adapted into the event and realized that, okay, listen, this is not working. Let's change there. Let's put there. But when you don't have people who can read the game from the bench, who understand that, listen, we came here, we had this plan, it's not working. First 30 minutes, we gotta change it. You know what I mean? So they needed people outside of the field to make those changes, and also the fact that those 2 young boys that were not in the team. Oh man.
Mdu and
Do and what's the young Vilaga's no that was I mean I know
They're not injured, ne?
no, I don't think they're injured. They were just they didn't make the
Well,
team.
the coach said it's a technical thing.
Technical.
Yeah, he said that.
yeah.
I mean, we saw it. I mean,
said-
what technically was talking about. You can't drop. Sometimes these young boys, in events, in such occasions, they then rise up. So when you don't have players like that who can lift the team up, then you're gonna struggle. I think they should have just had them on the bench, play them, tell them, listen, go and enjoy the occasion. And I'm sure those boys, they could have done much, much better than what we saw.
Yeah.
But for me, Chiefs was just, they look heavy, they look sluggish, they were always second on the ball. They lost their formation at some point. Players were keeping strikers on. The defense is there. One defender is like, holding back, is not pushing with everyone. I think it was the second goal.
Yeah, they didn't move as a unit. I think
unit,
yeah,
exactly. So such things, those small margin, and unfortunately, they considered a goal from that. But to be quite honest, the Chiefs supporters, they don't deserve what we saw yesterday. Sometimes I watch. I'm sorry to bring this up. I watched Sundowns and Pirates. Pirates lost the match, but they fought.
Yeah,
They wanted to win.
It was 2 quality
They
teams
created
playing quality
chances.
football.
Unfortunately, they didn't score, but they've played. They were intentional.
Yeah.
But yesterday, Chiefs, there was nothing. I mean, first half they didn't have what?
No shot on target.
No shot on target.
Yo.
You start questioning those things.
So there's a Chiefs game I watched. They play against Siwelile. McCarthy started at left back, but it turned more into a back three with Solomon started that Siwelile game.
Yeah.
And then yesterday Munyane started.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be the same thing that they were thinking.
Okay.
Munyane goes way up high. They've got a back three sort of something in a way.
Sure.
But then when you saw McCarthy hugging the line, when they had the ball, then it didn't make sense to say, well, McCarthy, I don't think there's an argument. He's been one of the best centre backs at Chiefs.
Yeah.
Correct.
This season.
And then you take him out, you put him at left back.
No. You
So minus one of your solid, reliant players, which has been doing well for you. Combination, Kwinika has been working well. They've kept a lot of clean sheets. Miguel, I know Miguel's the club captain. There's that. I don't know. There's people that say the club captain must always be on the field.
He was not even the captain yesterday.
Yeah. You see. And then he hasn't played in a while. We know he's an international player. You expect your international players must always be on the field because
No, true.
And then you take it from Lapo, setup emuva. You've got Unobo Numaboye.
I had a big problem with it.
But
So
the defensive setup.
my problem is this, ne? I mean, you've just seen Pirates, and they've just played last week. We discussed Tabayas Belibel on the right, how Sundowns exploited him, right? And Mabane, the way Chiefs set up, I think it was perfect for Belibel. Because remember, against Sundowns, he had 2 things. He had a white player was dragging him all over. And then he had a wing back like Aubrey who was pinning him back as well, coming forward. This time you've got Modi, who's very predictable. Then you've got McCarthy, who as a left
Hanging
back,
back.
he's not going to give you anything. So now you're basically inviting Sibele or Ita because there's nothing else. There's nothing coming his way. So and then the midfield guys. Okay, so when I saw the lineup, when I saw that midfield, the first thing I said was they're throwing my boy under the bus.
Why not Ngobo?
Because you expect Mabuwe to be that 6, right? Which I still don't. I know you have a different
Not
opinion.
a 6.
For me, and I think it will always show, especially in the big games.
Okay.
It may not show in other games when they have the ball, but I think in the big games, I think you will constantly see that he's not really a 6, right? So you're playing him there. Then you've got Ngoboli, Chislet, yeah. Ne? You know Pirates, high octane, energy buyer, 3 number 10s running everywhere. Ngobo is not going to give you a lot of. Yeah, it doesn't give you enough in terms of legs. Chislet is just a riot, guys. He had one game against Stellies. He's still getting used to the league. And then Nobalatela 2 against midfielder Pirates. I knew Ray Ikasospine in this thing. Just seeing that midfield. I just knew that they would be overrun, they'd be outworked, and they'd be outplayed. And that's exactly what happened.
So, when my boy, I'm thinking possibly they want to dominate the ball. They want to use the ball effectively in ways you would. They want to draw Pirates. Lilepo with his speed. Modi also trying to go wide. They keep the ball centrally. Mlungu's got good runs going forward. That's what I was thinking.
So, Ubonin.
Wait, I mean, he's
They
right.
didn't do that.
He's right what he's saying. He's saying maybe
Because
Chiefs
both
wanted
players
to
were-
control
yeah.
the midfield, but you're playing Pirate. That's why the problem
But guys,
is.
surely, ne? And again, we're not coaches, but I'm just thinking logically, ne? When you make that decision, or I want to control, you must also look at your players, right?
Yeah.
You don't. It's realistically. Do you look at Makaula Limbat and think we're going to control the midfield? We want to have
So
the ball
listen,
over them.
you look at Macaulay Lambert
Yeah.
in their own team.
Yeah.
And you look at the Chief team. Yeah. They are very good players on the ball.
For sure,
And they are
very good
players
on the ball,
you
yeah.
expect that they will keep the ball for you.
But okay, but surely you also have to think going the other way.
Sure.
Because you can't ignore Pirates in Lala.
Yeah.
As good as Sundowns is, you could see Sundowns respected Pirates. They knew Hore, these guys are good. But I just did not see that respect. I just don't think that midfield. I think it's lightweight in terms of legs, in terms of work rate. It was never going to work with it against Pirates.
Especially also the mere fact that Apolis will come in.
Apolis
And
comes in.
Then you've got numbers.
Because that's what happened. It was
players.
overloads all over the pitch. on the wing, they're overloading you with sometimes a wide player and a wing back.
Sure.
And then more center, sometimes they basically got 3 or 4 in the middle. You're overloaded. Ngobo and Chislet are not going to help you with that.
But I'm trying to make a case for Itim Yak.
You want
Okay,
so you
let
are
me-
trying to make a case.
I'm trying to make a case.
Okay, make a case, my brother.
But okay.
And it sounds difficult. It's a difficult case.
That's very... Hey, ngisejele manje.
Do you still not
So,
think that?
so I'm saying, ke maboy, ke Ngoba ke.
Yeah.
Pirates as a team that Kaze the
Yeah.
other coach.
Yeah.
You know Pirates bagatodlala ka count.
Yeah.
Right? And you're thinking, let's keep the ball. Let's avoid them bagladiseka tempo yabo.
Slow it. What Sundowns did.
Yeah.
For bring the game down. Use
Yeah.
a Jaden to bring the game down. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, fine, in the midfield you've got players that want the ball.
Mhm.
Then you've got a Lilepo, you've got a Modi. They'll always be wide.
Mhm.
So they will never help you with your idea. Let's tame Pirates for a team ball.
Yeah.
Because if you want to keep the ball, you can't do it. Really trefeda. You need your wingers to come in at least support
Sure.
for a way out.
Mm.
And then Lilepo hagile line.
But my thing is, you know my problem with that, ne? Central midfielders don't just keep the ball. They keep the ball
course.
if they play in a system. It's a systematic thing. Like it's easier for central midfielders who play in teams that are designed and they're used to Mfethu, no majita ka Soweto Derby batho ba sukela or keep the ball.
So we're going back to coaches.
Listen,
Let me
I
coach
mean,
this.
we have to be honest.
yeah.
You know, we can't then shy away from the fact that when you watch Chiefs, especially the games that sometimes they struggle, you now expecting the coaches to come up with something within that match, you know, to come up with a different approach.
Yeah.
If they realize that it's not working, then maybe let's
Solve the
change
problems.
the struggle there.
Yeah.
But if you don't have people who are able to see things, you know, while it's happening, then for me that's not a coach. For me, coaches are best at realizing that this is not working, and all this player is off.
But
You know what I mean? Which sometimes players do. I mean, like you said, you just you've realized Pirates, they're overloaded in the midfield.
Yeah.
You need a holding defensive midfield.
And I was going to ask you
a
that.
stable holding midfield that is going to now guide your two centre backs. You know what I mean? Which they didn't have.
Do you think Mabua can be? Do you think Mabua can be that number 6, or do you think he still needs a shield, like the way Katsande shielded Yeye, for example?
He's a brilliant player, Mabua.
Top player,
Good on the ball.
Top player, good on the ball.
Yeah.
Attacking.
But he's not going to give.
Not defensive.
That's what I told you.
Bro.
You see, especially
but
in the big
listen,
games. In the big games. I'm
yes.
telling you.
I'm a big fan of Mabo.
Bro, he's a brilliant player,
fan of Mabo.
exceptional player. But you can't then rely on him as a defensive midfield. You're asking for you're inviting trouble.
Thank you. Especially against these Pirates.
You're inviting
And you
trouble.
know how Pirates, everybody knows what Pirates is here to do. We all know how Pirates is going to play. It's not a secret.
Yeah, no,
It's not a surprise.
Yeah.
So, you know what is the most disappointing watching this game? Ne? It's like Chiefs and Donna, they just didn't show up. It was like, it's not a derby. It's like, this is probably one of the biggest games that you see in South African football context. Right? Stadium, Solomon Kalou, and that's what you do. That's the game that you play. It's like, even with all the goals, Mautinkare, they caught by surprise. It's like they called.
Do you think, guys? Do you think there's enough personality in the Chiefs team? And by personality, I mean, you guys will
Not
understand.
talent-wise.
You guys will understand better than us, ne? But we always know that it's not just about having ability, ne? Every time you see big teams, you see like Wabon already. These are big personalities, leaders on the field.
Characters.
Do you think there's enough? Like when you look around, do you think there's enough?
Firstly, the coaching department. Let's start there.
Because leadership starts there.
I don't think they have capabilities to
On the field?
to sit on the bench. Obviously, when you don't have that from the coaching side of things, then it's difficult that players now we expect them to then overcome the technical people on the bench.
Yeah.
However, I strongly believe that Chiefs have players that are able, you know, to win matches, and I think that Chiefs do have players that are the players that can compete in the league and maybe win the league. But unfortunately, they don't have the coaching department. They don't have the leadership in that role.
Yeah.
And sometimes then you then see players are not able to shine in like matches. You're not able to watch players who are able to show their characters because even the leadership on the bench is not there. That's the unfortunate part. Because all the players that have been brought to Chiefs, some of them they've played for some of these teams in the league.
Sure.
And then when they came to Chiefs and the standard dropped.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant players when they came from.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've seen
Paul's been
and then
saying
Players
this.
in the face when they come to Chiefs.
And then
yeah.
when they went to Chiefs for some reason, and I strongly believe sometimes the Chiefs just need a coach that is able to motivate these players to tell them how good they are, and then they'll perform for you. I mean that's my honesty. I mean I could be wrong or right, but
Yeah.
that's my
straight.
honesty. Okay.
Yeah, straight.
Yeah, straight.
So one was the assistant coach. One was the translator for Nabi. They're co-coaches now. So they don't have a head coach that's been appointed as start of the season. Yeah, the head coach.
You are our guy.
You are
We
in
back
charge
you.
of directing, strategizing how this team goes about its business, how you set up during the week, Letloetsa. So they don't have Leon.
Listen, we also gotta be honest. So I think these coaches, they came with the head coach, Nabi.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They came with him. So if you fire the person that came with these coaches, obviously they have to go. They have to
come
go.
up with work.
Everyone
to go with the
has to
person.
leave. However, if you are still looking, listen to the second part of things. If you are still looking for a coach, you can keep them, but not for the whole season. You keep them for a month while you're still looking. You know, I'm still negotiating with other coaches until you find your head coach. Then you can bring him in, and then they have to go after that. But you must be honest. You must tell us as supporters, as former players, as loving people, you know, football. You must tell us exactly. Ideally, what is it that you're doing?
What is the
Are these people that you're gonna then at the end of the season they're gonna be the head coaches going forward? Or you just keeping them for the sake of keeping them until the season ends? We have to know, because now when we start losing, we're gonna start. People, chief supporters are now questioning that. Are saying, listen, be honest to us.
Can you also
What's
blame
going on?
management?
I have a problem. This is my
Can you
problem.
also blame management?
Rico, what's a flopper
Let them
king, ne?
take some
I
shoulder.
think Paul can answer
that's my
that.
problem.
I think
Hore.
Paul can answer
But guys,
that.
Guys.
if we move from the game now, we're talking about Chiefs generally.
Yes, I mean, there's not
Everything
much.
Chiefs.
What are we going
I
to say
guess there's
about the
nothing
game?
much to say about
What
the
are we
game.
going to say about the game?
They were disappointing. They
Yes.
didn't, yeah.
So,
Guys, Chiefs are
my
not
man,
disappointing.
here's the problem.
Chiefs are Rutile.
Management, like just climbing on to what Pa was saying. Ne? Nabi was put on suspension leave. I don't know what was going on. They were not very
Now, we not 1-0.
forthcoming with what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And then it was decided, okay, Nabi Wavaya, we're keeping these two as coaches. I mean, if you know you're firing Nabi and maybe they had no intentions of looking for a coach in that period. They had all the intentions of these guys are going to take us to the end of the seasons, right? So number one. So it means that if they were firing Nabi, how are you firing Nabi when you do not have a plan of another coach? But this was the plan. These are the two guys that are going to take us forward, which is a problem. Because clearly I spy.
Yeah, it's a problem. I think it's a problem because, I mean, the results are showing now. It is a problem, you know what I mean? And also, you don't plan when you're going to fire a coach, unfortunately. If you don't get the result, then you must make that call, that decision. Then obviously, you'll have to make that decision. However, if there are no coaches available, obviously you're going to delay, you know, to hire someone, you know, to take that space. It's just, it's now that we are witnessing these coaches that they've kept them, and we don't know for how long. And sometimes when you see a team like we saw yesterday playing like that, we now asking the question, please, we need someone as quick as possible, because we can see the team is not where we want them to go. They are not moving to that direction that we witnessed at the beginning of the season. We see Nabi. Nabi was not that bad. Chiefs did compete. Unfortunately, there were other issues that we are not aware of. We don't have preview of that. You know what I mean? However, we can still question what we see currently. Currently, what we see are people when they come and tell us, I mean, post matches that players were dropped for some
technical,
and then
those are the two better players that they have.
Technical, you must tell us exactly what that technical is, because you must explain to us. Okay, I dropped them because I needed wingers that function in this fashion. You know what I mean?
But do you change the coaches now? Because what's the point?
There's no point. There's no point.
There is, but there's a point. There's a point.
What are you playing for this season?
So Chief,
I'd say this. Let me. I'll go into saying Ben and Kaze, from where Chiefs were seasons before coming up, at least now, which is not a nice thing to say about Chiefs. At least now they're number 3, which is horrible to say about a team like Chiefs.
Yeah.
But I can give them credit for that, to say, well, from going back, they were starting to get into the top 8.
So who must coach Chiefs?
But
listen, no, they're gonna coach Chiefs now. This is what I think.
But I can now flip that around. I'm now and say to you, you're saying Chiefs is better, this season. But who represent the national team from Chiefs? Because that is important. It's important for a club like Chiefs that you gotta have your players in the national team, especially when the team is able to qualify for AFCON, is able to qualify for the World Cup. If you don't have players who are representing your country. Therefore, you're not a team that is doing so well.
Yeah.
I love Chiefs. I love Chiefs deeply. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm a fan or a supporter, but I
You played. Well, yeah, it's important.
I just
You won the league there.
it's I think
last time
senior,
Chiefs won the league.
I think Chiefs it's a big club. I think Chiefs deserve to be amongst the best teams in this country and in Africa. And when you see Chiefs struggling, you start questioning things. However, I mean, when you don't have players that are representing your country and your country is doing well for qualifiers and all of that,
So
there's
far-
a problem.
So, Pa, I understand what you're saying, but this comes from years back, coming. So, if your team has been struggling for some time, for a good 10 years, they won their first cup.
Yeah,
After,
Nedbank.
Last year,
yeah,
last
year.
after 10 years.
So after-
how many-
after buying them won the
win,
league.
Pa? Fools after win. So, how would you expect a player from Chiefs in a span of a 10-year period, besides the next year, not challenging, struggling to be in the top 8, to be picked for the national team?
I mean, I hear your point.
The fact that
I'm
we
not
don't expect them to be
Yeah.
picked for the national team is the problem. That's
Okay,
the
but,
problem.
but guys,
Okay,
let's simplify it,
Yeah.
right? At the end of the day, I think we agree in terms of yesterday's game.
Bad.
They genuinely isn't much we can say about
Yeah.
the performance. It wasn't a good performance. They improved a bit in the second half, but still not good enough,
Yeah.
right? But let's just look at what is Chiefs' season going forward. What is left for Chiefs to do this season?
And I think also, on top
okay.
of what Mpo is asking, also let's also look forward to next season.
Yeah.
Let's say they keep the coaches now. Who comes in?
Yeah.
Who, like, let's say Chiefs are getting a coach quality.
Yeah. Because let's be honest,
wants to coach Chiefs right now?
The league is probably gone. Eh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
gone.
gone.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's
the
gone.
league is gone. So we're not going to be covering Chiefs when we cover the title race. I don't think we're going to be covering Chiefs. I think it's very clear now, right?
About
So
Sundowns.
Yeah, so let's talk about it now. Going forward, what's left of their season and who comes in when the season ends? What are your suggestions?
Okay, relatively what I think, they will keep the 2 co-coaches. So, end of the season, while looking for a coach.
Yeah.
It gives them time there's about 13 games to go.
Yeah.
It gives them a period of time to assess the players that they have,
Mhm.
the players that they think will be there next season,
Mhm.
the players that they think are worth representing a brand like Chiefs, a brand that wants to challenge for the league.
Mhm.
You tick that one, and you look at the coaches that are available. I hear people saying Pizzo, this. I don't think, if I'm Pizzo, I don't think I want to come to Chiefs.
Let's actually, people are calling for Pito and Roland. Let's just be,
Yeah.
so let's discuss. Maybe
If you are
let's-
Rolando
yeah.
or Pito, your Chiefs win.
So, what are you giving me as management of Chiefs? Are you just going to give me a year to work magic? Or are you giving me 2 years, 3 years to get 4 players this season, get another 4 or 5 next season,
Have a proper
integrate
team.
them
yeah.
together,
Mhm.
and then I challenge these 2 that are stabilized.
Rolani, assuming, I mean, we know and we must respect his team. He's with another team, but assuming he becomes available. Rolani?
He's an interesting name.
Mhm.
I don't think Rolani would want to coach the Chiefs.
But what do you think?
I mean, listen, man. Roland is one of the best coaches in
Of
Africa.
course. Yeah.
You can't deny that. He's proven himself. Young coach. I mean, someone that, for me, he can make a significant change within the structures of the football itself. You know, from Chiefs, I think he's an ambitious coach. I think it's someone that still wants to, you know, win a number of trophies and also transform how football is played. You know what I mean? So he will be a very, very good coach if if Chiefs are able to bring him in. However, I mean, there are other brilliant coaches, Pito as well. You know, there are a number of coaches. I mean, there are overseas coaches where Chiefs can look at.
You know what's my problem with Pito and Rolani? Ne? They're obviously top coaches, ne? But
Quality players.
if you look at their track record, especially Rolani, they are not the kind of coaches who can pull a Gavin Hunt or a Gordon Egerson, who can take a team that on paper is maybe the third or fourth best and make the team win the league. They win the league when they have the
best players,
especially the way they play. It's very complicated. They need quality players. So I feel like if you get a Pito, you get a Roland, unless you're gonna back him fully in the transfer window, I think it's pointless.
You also need time, man. It's a time thing.
Time,
You don't
yeah.
expect someone to come in.
I think, anybody who comes
like,
you need at least a season with backing.
With backing, yeah.
You know,
a proper transfer
not
window.
just a season. At least 2-3 seasons. Even like a proper, decent, top quality coach, Stuart.
Yeah.
He had the players.
No, he had the players. But we must not think that Chief doesn't have good players. They don't have the coach that is able to make those players function. You know, Parrot. Parrot, there were players that were brought at Parrot, ne? We didn't know them. Let's see, yesterday's right back for Parrot.
Okay.
These are players that we didn't know them.
Okay,
but from listen.
Okay.
But Parrot was able to use them correctly and make sure that they perform. And suddenly they play for a national team. 1 season, 2 seasons, they're in the national team.
Fair point.
You know, like on that point, wait.
Okay, let's assume that McCarthy was played as a centre back yesterday. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then they had your proper left back. You know what I mean? And then they decided to play a decent holding midfielder. Could have been a different story.
You know, this is the thing on that point, and you've made this point multiple times. The players who have come to Chiefs and regressed. Is it a coaching problem? Maybe somebody else can come in and be able to get the best out of those.
But let's be there. Let's look at it like let's just be,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's look at the Chiefs players. Which players do you say? Right? I can name one. I can name Tail. And
players
I can say players who you know that at their best, they're probably like as good as anyone at Sundowns or Pirates. I can name one. I can name Tail. Right? Who else can you
think?
Maboe. Okay, Maboe, obviously.
You think?
But don't forget, Maboe was not getting into the team at Sundowns.
No, but
he's the best player at Chiefs.
And now he's the best player at Chiefs. That should tell you something. But I'm not saying that they've got bad players. But remember, we can't look at Chiefs in isolation. We must look at them compared to who they're competing with.
Sure.
I don't think they've got bad players. I think they've got very good players. But look at the players that Pirates have. Look at the players that Sundowns have. And the players they keep getting. I think Chiefs need to step it up in the transfer window.
We can't argue Sundowns, ne?
Yeah.
But we can come to Pirates. Pirates, they just get a player from DDC, ne? No one knows of the player. No one has ever heard of this player.
He's right, actually.
No.
Okay, yes.
Puso was the Chiefs. Ndaman was the Chiefs. We can also say that just because they don't say come to the first team.
No, but here's the I think you're actually proving his point, right? Because what we're saying here, actually, which is a deeper conversation.
Nobo was there for
what Bai is saying is Chiefs' inability to be able maybe to recognize Ndaman was not recognized, Pusu was not recognized. It's also part of the coaching problem overall as a bigger conversation. Because now you have these players who did not make the grade at Chiefs who are now playing for the best teams.
In the last
and
5
they're
years.
performing. Yeah. And they're performing. Maybe you can get a coach who can now realize it and say, no, let me look at the development.
No,
I'm just saying.
But guys,
to add.
But I put coach. I put coach.
I take
Sispana development. It's development.
It's a structure. It's a structure
to say Sispana Soti. We gave our young ones the chance.
South Africa is different. Yeah. They sign players.
My challenge for Chiefs is this, ne? Let's be honest. Sundowns have reached a level that other teams in terms of spending, and I don't blame Chiefs and Pirates. Spending 54 million for 20 million. No, that's fine. So let's forget about that. Yeah. But for me, I think Chiefs should at the very least
challenge
Pirates to get, and not just free transfers. Because let's be honest, that's what they do. A lot of their signings are free. Challenge when there's an Apollos available. Arrows, Challenge for Ndlovu, like these kind of players.
Rumors about him going to Downs or something.
I heard that, but you see, that's why I think Chiefs should be competing. And for me, until they do that,
why do you go on as if Chiefs doesn't have the spending power?
It's not even. I don't want to talk about spending. Chiefs does have players. Listen, We can argue on that point, but they do have players, and I think they have players who can challenge. Unfortunately, some of these young players, they don't believe in them. Like yesterday, they dropped the 2 youngest players, the Chiefs. They were like, no.
The 2 better players
Yes,
who
exactly.
give them something.
And they were dropped because the coach, for some reason, he does not think that they deserve to play in the derby. You know what I mean? If you have played those players, I'm sure they were going to perform for you. I'm not saying they were going to win the match for you, but I'm definitely
give you
sure
something.
they were going to perform on the day. You know what I mean? So sometimes you gotta believe in these players. Take McCarthy, play him centre back with
Unique.
Kunika.
yeah, with Quinnick. Play the 2. And then at some point, Quinnick wasn't playing, and then they brought him back. They played him the centre back. The boy was brilliant, and it's been brilliant since then.
I just don't think. I still think there's a gap.
There's a gap.
in quality between.
Not a gap, a big gap.
There's a big gap.
It's fine, guys.
Anyway, guys, let's
do this.
we can talk the whole day. Yeah.
Let's do this, right? I think before we wrap it up, one last thing. Season 2 get title race. This is the biggest thing that's going on right now. Both teams are out of Barking Netbank as we speak. Now,
Here comes this argument.
It's Downs and Pirates. I could say Regents. Like so far, Mpo, where are you leaning? I want to start with you because you've been very vocal since the season started. You said Downs is winning the league. You said Downs are gonna pip it at the end. Have you changed your mind? Or you still on that?
I'm not until I see something. I want Paris to win the league. I think we all want Paris to win the league. We want a different team to win the league. But I still maintain that it's going to be close, and I won't be surprised if this goes to the last day or the second last day. But yeah, I still think Downs. But having said that, I think Pirates. If you've checked both teams, Sundowns have a tendency of dropping points. I think they've drawn 5 or 6 games against some of the smaller teams. And Pirates have been very consistent in those games. Yes,
the smaller teams they hammer.
Yeah, they've played Sundowns. Right? They've played Sundowns twice. So I think the message to Pirates will be just keep the consistency against the so-called smaller teams. And you never know. But I still think Sundowns will take it by a point or 2.
So if Pirates has one of those runs like first leg, they're definitely winning the league.
Listen, you see, in when you're in the space, especially where Sundowns and Pirates are currently, you will see Sundowns will start from the experience perspective because they're much experienced and they know how to win when it's crucial. Né? They haven't been the greatest team this season. I think Pirates has been consistent, you know, even though sometimes the coach makes changes that sometimes for us like dubious. However, I think Sundowns, they're gonna start using the experience because Sundowns is able to win like games consistently, which Pirates did the first leg of the season. However, for me, Pirates sometimes they just lose a match where you think, they get a draw. Where you think they should be. No, honestly. Last season, remember last season, that's what happened to Pirates.
Yeah.
Crucial moments. They couldn't, go to the final of the Champions League. And then from there on, they just dropped. And I so hope that does not happen this time. Because the only thing that they're playing for now, it's the league. They have no Champions League. They have no...
Having been in a tough title race, I think when you guys were competing with Sundowns, it was probably similar, ne?
Yeah. And actually we were ahead of them.
But we
were, I think, no. We won the first one. The second one, it was won by Sundowns. Yeah. But we were ahead of Sundowns.
Yeah. They caught up.
And then for some reason we collapsed. We got our first draw, we lost one match, and then Sundowns just were able to win games back to back. And then the next thing we're like, we've lost it.
What should Pirates look out for to avoid having a collapse like that? What can cause that?
You must make sure that the performance we saw when they played Sundowns, that's the performance that's gonna win them the league. That performance, you know what I mean? Because they're gonna play against teams that are playing for survival. You know, playing for survival. All they want, maybe it's a draw. And then they're gonna frustrate you. Sit at the back. They're like, you know what? We just need a draw here. If they don't score, we get that 1 point. And for them, that's huge for that team. So they have to know when they've scored one, they need to know how to defend. Because sometimes Pirates, they just concede. It's just that they've got a good goalkeeper who then saves them. Sometimes he doesn't make a lot of saves, but when he's required to make saves, and it comes to the party. So, but I think Abu Mbata and Abu they've matured enough. You know, I think also Abu CBC they've matured enough. The goalkeeper have matured enough, and they've got players that have matured, and also they now know how to win matches. They know now how to, and Apollos I think is adding on that, you know, because he creates.
Sure.
And he makes sure that if he doesn't score, he'll create for you.
Okay.
Sundowns.
Sundowns, lo, ne?
Yeah.
Simplified. Uti Sundowns. Pa.
Chief Sundowns.
Uti Sundowns.
Sundowns
is winning the league.
How can I choose two teams?
Yeah. Uti Sundowns is winning the league.
I want to see Pirates winning the league.
But you think Sundowns is going to win? That's the question.
Because Pirates have tendencies of dropping points because of experience.
Kumere?
So before Kuqala. Whoa. Hey,
Sure.
whoa. Khulumela iphakani.
Okay, sure.
Cela ukubuza. Futhi angibuzi. So nina nithi the performance of an Orlando Pirates team against Sundowns is good enough to win the league. Bedliwe Sundowns.
Yes.
So I'm not talking about the lose. I'm talking about the performance.
Pirates, they did not lose because they were poor. They lost because Sundowns was better.
And also they didn't score.
Yeah.
The chances that they created
chances
if
and they
scored,
fluffed their
if they've
lines.
scored, it's a different
Aye,
story.
man, even Khulumela Pirates, man.
Oh,
man,
sorry.
Man. And then sharply, Choso again. Sundowns were bad. Do you prefer performance or result?
No, it's what we are saying is
Yeah,
if they play the way they played against Sundowns, they beat any other team.
that's performance.
Any other team except for Sundowns.
And
And
we're
guess,
saying keep
they don't have to play
just
Sundowns.
keep that performance. They don't have to play Sundowns every week.
because they will score. One thing I know, they will score.
Yeah.
Because the tempo was on another level. I hear what you're saying.
It's performance. The performance is Sundowns. If Pirates perform the same way against Sundowns and won, Benzo's result.
No, we'll say that performance gave them
Benzo's
the
result
result.
as performance.
We'll say that performance provided that result. You know what I mean?
And then what we're saying is if they pitch up like that,
Yes.
they've played both games against Sundowns. They're done. They never want to play a team that's strong.
Yes.
Just play like that, you're gonna win. They can probably go on a 7-8 game winning run even. So I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So baqhubeke kanje. It's in baqhubeke kanje.
Yeah.
And they
So
will
by
win
winning
matches.
league baqhubeka kanje.
Yeah.
That's what the
Well,
gents are saying.
yeah,
If they carry on like that, they win the league.
They should win it, yeah.
No, they
Now,
should.
Pirates win a league nje.
Nah.
Okay.
Pirates win kere
We're
Pirates
not
win
Pirates
a
winning.
league.
Okay. So just to close this thing off, ne? Linda, get Pirates win a league. And I'm gonna tell you why. What I've seen is just how teams, we spoke about this earlier, how teams approach games as Sundowns. Low block. Baba frustrator. And more often than not, Sundowns sometimes is not able to come up with answers in those types of games where a team is just there to frustrate you.
Sure.
Pirates, on the other hand, they don't mind to let you have the ball, but they devastate you.
Khadisa.
They don't mind. You can have the ball, but they devastating on the counter.
Sure.
And they have enough quality against everybody else, maybe bar Mamelodi Sundowns. So, and I'm not overly entirely convinced because Sundowns also has a tendency, you said it, of dropping points in terms of draws and so forth this season. The way that things are sitting right now, if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Pirates. I say Pirates wins this.
Pirates.
Guys, we've
Get Pirates.
been on it. I think this is 2 hours.
Pirates.
No, it's not. It's about an hour. But anyway,
Okay, I'll
wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get into Pirates Sundowns. Chiefs best position ya Chiefs ranking.
Best position not
Third.
To end the league.
Third.
Yeah, third.
Best position they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they shouldn't, because the guys, let's be fair. Just my last thing, ne? Let's also be fair to Chiefs. We can't now say Chiefs season was a failure because they're not gonna stay in the title race. When the season started, we didn't even think Chiefs would be in the title
They
race.
would have took the hand off.
So from where Chiefs was when the season started, I think if Chiefs just maintain, they don't fall apart completely, and they get their third, even fourth place. Sure.
For about careful.
Okay, third.
About careful at least.
Third
But win the
or-
league.
third-
Number 3, but win the
Third
league.
or they win the league.
No, they're not
I don't
win.
know how, but
But win the league. Number 3.
miracles.
Chiefs is not winning a damn
I was trying anything to talk about.
Number
But,
3.
like, I actually didn't think we were going to speak about this so long.
Number 3 win the league.
Kuna miracles.
Aye, pa.
She was very quiet.
Bona ngalukupa like, subscribe, comment. Let's engage. Comment section. Motivate. Aye. Asam ben sulala. It's fine. Thank you. Sharp.